Hello everybody, welcome back to more political chatter. We're doing another hypothetical 2024 election prediction. This one is between Joe Biden. Of course, that is very possible. He's most likely to win the 2024 Democratic nomination. He's very unpopular. And again, this is 2024, but this is if George W. Bush could run for a third term, and he does in 2024. Okay, so this is George W. Bush. His presidency is just how it was. He ended underwater. He was very unpopular at the end of his term, and he will be running for a third term. And people are really going to have a bad taste in their mouths when it comes to George W. Bush. He ended on a bad note, especially with with the recession at the end of his second term. Then Obama stepped in, and he kind of fixed things up. So, Americans will be pretty upset when it comes to economy because the end of Bush's term showed that he is not good with the economy. In, Biden's term, there's massive inflation. And Americans are really going to be upset about this one. But let's see how they will do. So Biden, I see carrying California and Washington solidly. Then, there's always going to be that anti-war kind of sentiment. Remember, Biden ended the troops being sent to Afghanistan. And Bush, with him sending troops to Iraq, he kind of started that. So, so that definitely plays a factor in progressive states like Oregon, Hawaii, New Jersey, I think would probably be likely for the president. DC and then Maine's first will be solid because of that anti-war sentiment. But Bush still will be very popular in these safe Republican states. Kansas, maybe not so much. This is a state that is shifting left. I think that will be a likely state, even with Biden unpopular. But really, he was born in Connecticut, but he is more known from being from Texas. He was the governor of the state of Texas. So, stuff like that will give him the edge in a lot of these southern states. I think Indiana would be likely. Donald Trump almost won it by a likely margin in 2020, but since Mike Pence was on the ticket, former governor of Indiana, he won it solidly. I think South Carolina will stay likely. And then going to his home state of Texas, I also think that he will stay likely. He will do better than Trump here, of course, but there are a lot of Democrats and liberals and progressives in the state of Texas, and we have to keep that in mind. Alaska, I don't see going anywhere. Iowa and Ohio. Iowa actually went to Al Gore in 2000 and went to George W. Bush in 2004. Just narrowly tilt margins in both years. So this one's going to be a bit tough, but really that Trump base that has shown to be... Sorry, I thought I heard something. But that strong Trump base in the state of Iowa, that it's proven to be significant. And I think that it will come out to play in the state of Iowa and likely Ohio too. That one is going to be a bit closer, I think, saying that it did go to Al Gore. And then I think it did go to John Kerry, if I do remember as well. But probably likely as well, actually. What we do have to remember is that Trumpian Republicans will turn out. Whoops, I forgot to characterize the state of Connecticut. That will be solid. And then going down to Virginia, definitely a state that I see being very much closer than in the 2016 and 2020, because they really hated Trump. They really shunned Trump. And I think that this will go tilt Biden just because that there are a lot of Democrats. And remember, a lot of independents will not turn out to vote for Bush, and they won't turn out to vote for Biden either. And then going down to Florida, this is a state that, again, that he won in 2000 and 2004. Such a close state. I think that it would go to him once again, in more of a red wave year. We have to keep that in mind. So will Georgia and North Carolina, two states where he has the southern appeal that is key to winning these. And then, he's going to do very well with the McCain voters in the state of Arizona. I think that would be likely. And, but New Mexico and Colorado, two progressive states that aren't going to like his war policy. I think those would stay likely, along with the state of Minnesota. That might be a bit closer just because Biden is unpopular. And then going to Nebraska's 2nd district, that's going to be lean Bush because it is tilting Republican. Or shifting Republican, I mean. And then going to the state of Nevada, this one's pretty tough, but liberals will turn out for Biden. I really think so. In a matchup of, say, Nikki Haley versus Biden, they're not going to turn out for him. But remember, George W. Bush is remembered for starting the Iraq-Afghanistan war. We have to remember that. And Biden ended it. And Biden is going to use that he's going to use that so much. That will be key to a potential Biden victory. He will use that a lot, and I think that Nevada will be tilt Biden. I'm sorry if you disagree with me. Going up to Maine at large, let's go to Maine 2nd. I don't know who won this in 2000 or 2008, 2000 or 2004. I'll say lean Bush because there are a lot of Trumpian Republicans here. That would mean that Maine at large will be probably likely close to being safe, though. And New Hampshire's definitely a state where Bush could do well. He might have won it in 2000. He might have. But, definitely a state where it could go to him. But, because it is moderate, they're going to, and, they really don't like Biden. This one's really tough for me. But I think that his war policy, that, the war thing won't come into it. Play a whole lot in the state of New Hampshire just because there aren't a lot of, progressive, liberal, people who are far left and far right on the political spectrum, There's not a lot of people like that. It's a very moderate state, very cool state. So I think that it would go to George W. Bush just because Biden is so unpopular. And then going to the blue wall, these are 3 states that Bush could not carry. And remember, Trump was able to win those blue-collar, working white voters who felt like they were being left behind in an Obama America where immigrants were now coming into the country so heavily. So I do think that the states of Michigan and Pennsylvania would go to Joe Biden. Michigan lean, Pennsylvania tilt. But I think Wisconsin by a lean margin, just because Republicans turning out for George W. Bush in such heavy numbers will carry him, the state of Wisconsin. And he is, therefore, narrowly elected president. If Biden wins Wisconsin, he wins. But ultimately, I think that Bush will get a victory here by tilt margin. And he wins with 277 electoral votes to Joe Biden's 261. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, and I hope to see you next time.